Good day everyone. In previous session we have discussed buck converter analysis in continuous current mode operation. In this session we shall discuss buck converter analysis with discontinuous current mode operation. So let us consider buck converter again. Okay, this is the buck converter circuit diagram. Now for with different different values of inductor, how the current to inductor would look like. Let us try to have some idea regarding this. Now let me keep the value of inductor to a very large value, so the ripple current through inductor is almost ignored, so that current value is more or less constant. It is almost constant. Similarly, if you reduce the value of inductance below this value, maybe certain value which is slightly greater than the critical value of inductance. I will tell you what is critical value of inductance sometime later. So for that particular value, so still current to inductor is going to be continuous, but it has got some ripple which is significant. Now here it is ignored because it is insignificant, but here it is ignored. So this value of inductance also large, but compared to this it is less. So as you are decreasing, what is happening for current through inductor? So it is having more ripple. So ripple content is increasing in the current through it. Now the anyway average value so is shown here, which is same as current through load also. During the on period, inductor current would increase, and during off period inductor current would fall. So with the slope m1 and m2 respectively, where m1 is equal to V in minus V0 by L and m2 is equal to minus V0 by L. So that is what we have derived in the previous lecture, right? So now, so for example, if I reduce the value further, so then what would happen? So previously for this value of inductance, for large value of inductance greater than LCR, so what happened? So the current minimum value is greater than 0 and maximum value is also greater than 0. Of course it is more than I min in fact. So I min minus I naught, I max minus I min is same as the ripple in the current, inductor current, so which is significant. However, it is continuous. There is no question of current to become 0. Always it oscillates between minimum and maximum values. But if you reduce further, let me assume that it is reduced to a critical value of the inductance LCR. So this kind of situation would occur. So that is current would rise a steady state. Current would during on period, at the beginning of on period, it would start rising from 0 and reach to a maximum value. And again during the off period, current will fall, and exactly at the instant where one switching period is about to complete, so it fall to 0. Immediately next cycle would start, next switching period would start, the switch would be turned on immediately, so current would rise again. So just it is going to minimum value of inductor current will just meet 0, and again it would rise quickly. So there is no time gap between 0 and again rising. Okay, it will fall to 0 exactly at the instant where second or next cycle starts. It reaches to 0 and immediately it will rise. So it is a state where, or it is a situation where inductor current is just continuous. Okay, if you increase the value of inductance slightly more than this, current would become continuous. There is no question of current to become 0, right? So this is a critical situation. In fact, this is a boundary situation. So what would happen if I reduce the value of inductance further? So then this kind of situation would occur. So current would rise during the on period, so from 0, and then so during the off period it starts falling, and it reaches to 0 so quickly. So before next switching period starts, it becomes 0, and in fact once it becomes 0, so from this instant to the next switching period, starting of next switching period, so current would be 0. So this is corresponding to the discontinuous current mode. Okay, whenever you operate this buck converter with this kind of discontinuous inductor current, so corresponding operation is referred to as discontinuous current mode operation of the buck converter. Okay, so now, so when this is possible, if you reduce the value of the inductance below critical value of inductance. We know inductor value, as you are increasing, it smoothens the current, smoothen the current more. Now if you use less value of inductance, so then it may not be sufficient to smoothen the output current. So you are going to have high value of ripple. Okay, we have very high significant value of ripple. Now this also results in the fall in the average current. You can see, so average current, now in this case it is not exactly del IL by 2. Okay, because it is half into so I max half into base into height, where base is not same as the TS in this case. It is something like beta into TS, where beta is less than the 1, less than 1. So before next cycle, so it is becoming 0. So this, if you consider this condition, that is L equal to LCR, that is corresponding to critical condition. If you increase L above this value, current becomes continuous, and if you decrease the value of inductance below this, so current becomes discontinuous. It is a boundary condition. So critical value of inductance is defined as minimum value of inductance above which inductor current is continuous for this buck converter. Okay, so that is the definition. This is not only the way you can keep inductance value constant. So maybe if I assume that current is continuous, you may increase the resistance value. If you increase the resistance value, automatically current through load would decrease, so that current through inductor also going to decrease. Okay, that also going to decrease for same output voltage and same input voltage, because only load is varying, no? So according to buck converter operation, output voltage is more or less constant. So in that case, what would happen? So because of that particular condition, I naught is reduced. So delta L also going to reduce, and that may lead to this particular condition. So discontinuous condition. Okay. So there is a scope if there are two conditions to have the discontinuous mode condition. One is by reducing the value of inductance below critical inductance, you can achieve the discontinuous mode operation. Similarly, by increasing the resistance value above the critical value, you can achieve the discontinuous mode operation. But so this discontinuous mode operation is going to affect the performance of the converter as well as the load. So load performance as well as the converter performance would become poorer. Okay, you should be very careful. So you should avoid this DCM operation, discontinuous mode operation. So anyway, let us try to find out critical value of inductance. So this is the boundary condition. So for this condition, try to find out what should be the value of inductance for given value of resistance and the remaining quantities, duty ratio and voltage and so on. We know this is just continuous condition. So if I decrease the value of inductance below this, it becomes discontinuous. So all formulas that are whatever we have derived for continuous conduction mode, so can be used for this case also. Okay, let us try to use that. So we know delta IL is same as I max for this particular condition, right? So delta IL is same as I max because I min is 0. Minimum value of the current through inductor is 0, and we know I min is equal to I naught minus del IL by 2. So from this we arrive at this equation, I naught is equal to delta IL by 2. Delta L is equal to 2 into I naught. And what is I naught value? I naught value is V naught by R, right? So V naught output voltage, average value of output voltage across resistor by resistance value. So 2 into V naught by R. So must be equal to del IL. What is this del IL? That is same as the ripple in the current, or same as, or else you can also take it as maximum value in this particular case. So delta IL, we know that is same as rise in the current during the on period. So that is same as M1. So M1 into this particular period, or M2 into this particular period. So what is M2? So magnitude of M2 is same as V naught by L. So now this is corresponding to critical condition. So I would take L is same as LCR. So V naught by LCR. So V naught by LCR is same as M2 into this period, which is same as half period, that is 1 minus E into TS, which is equal to 2 into V naught by R. Of course, you can use other formula, that is M1 into DTS also you can use. You will arrive at same formula. I strongly recommend you to do by your own. So from this formula you would get R is from this formula, if you simplify this further, you would get LCR is equal to R into 1 minus D by 2 into F. So R is resistance value, D is duty ratio, F is switching frequency. If these are known to you, you can find out. You can find out directly. Okay, here TS is generally TS is switching period, which is equal to 1 by S, 1 by F switching frequency. So instead of using TS, it is it is beneficial to use frequency in terms of frequency. So substitute TS equal to 1 by S. So you would get this is the critical value of inductance. So I told there is other way to achieve this continuous mode by increasing resistance value. You can increase the value in such a way that inductor current is going to be discontinuous. So if you do that, so you would get the formula this way. So formula again, I'm sorry, here make small correction. So this is not LCR, it is L. So for given value of L and given value of F and given value of D, you can use this formula to find out the value of critical resistance. And if you increase the value of resistance above this value, so then average current to inductor would fall, which leads to discontinuous current mode operation. Okay. So same formula, so you can derive the formula similar fashion. So in fact here, so in place of R you can replace it by RCR. Similarly, in place of LCR you can replace it by L. So same formula you are going to arrive it. Okay, just rearrangement of the parameters you will arrive at this formula. So next one, critical capacitance. So as in case of inductor, for capacitor also there is a possibility that capacitor voltage may also become discontinuous. Okay, that may fall to 0 and may be maintained at 0 so for some time, and this is possible in case, okay, this is possible in case the value of capacitance is less. So if you use more capacitance value, so there is more chance for voltage to become smoothened. So dip in the voltage would be less. But if you reduce that value, there is a possibility that the capacitor voltage also become discontinuous. So critical value of capacitance is defined as minimum value of capacitance above which output voltage is continuous and below which output voltage is going to be discontinuous. In fact, that is a boundary condition. In this boundary condition, you can V0 output voltage would be same as ripple voltage by 2. Okay, you will get this kind of triangle for output voltage. So just discontinuous, no? So you will get this kind of triangle. Okay. So del V0 is same as ripple, and the average value would be same as V0. So simply this V0 is equal to this the peak to peak value by 2. And we know V0 usually in terms of input voltage, because input voltage is given, no? You have to express that in terms of input voltage. So D into Vn. So D is duty ratio. And what about del V0 by 2? Del V0 by 2 is equal to half into, so del V0 formula, so we derived in the previous lecture. So use that formula. So finally you would get this as the critical capacitance, that is equal to, that is half into 1 minus D by 8 F square into L. Right. So now, so anyway, so this is about the critical capacitance. So one of the important concept that you must understand is the input-output relation, input and output current relation. So this is corresponding to discontinuous mode. So far we know the formula for the continuous current mode. Now what about discontinuous current mode? So discontinuous current mode, we know the current is going to be discontinuous. So current will rise during the on period, and after on period, so during the off period, quickly it will fall to 0. So before completion of the complete switching period, so and it would be maintained 0 till next switching period starts. So now, so this is the period, so during which current through inductor exists. So remaining remaining time during the switching period is going current voltage across the load is, the current through inductor is going to be 0. And it is going to be maintained, no? So voltage across inductor is going to be 0 during this period. So whenever current through inductor is 0 throughout this period, so there is no change in current, so there is no voltage across that would be 0. So voltage across inductor, so during the on period it is Vin minus V0, so because inductor current is flowing, no? So this is the path. Applying KVL, we will get VL minus VD in minus V0 as voltage across it during the on period. And during off period, so only this fraction of time, so you can see only this period. Okay, only this period. What is that? That is beta Ts minus T on. where T1 is equal to dTs. So substituting T1 equal to dTs, you will get that as beta minus d into Ts. So during that period, you will have voltage across the inductor is minus V naught. And what about remaining period? So remaining period of the switching period, so you will get that value equal to 0. And same thing we repeat for next cycle also. Now we know the volt second balance can give some idea about the output voltage. So let us apply volt second balance. V in minus V naught into dTs. So that is area under this this voltage waveform during the on period, minus voltage under this particular area under this voltage during this period. So this would be the complete area for one cycle. So find out that and make that equal to 0. So that is volt second balance. So from this we would get value of V naught is equal to d by beta into Vn, where beta usually less than 1. So beta must be less than 1. And using power balance, you can find out the output and input current relation also. So substitute V naught is equal to beta by d, d by beta. V naught is equal to d by beta into Vn. So by substituting that, you would get I naught is equal to beta by d into In. Okay, this way you can get the relation between input current and output current, input voltage and output voltage respectively. So how to identify buck converter operation? So in discontinuous mode, if that is in continuous current mode, no need to worry much. Formulas are available, you can use them directly. Sometimes students are tempted to use the formula directly without verifying whether the operation is in continuous current mode or discontinuous current mode. So discontinuous current mode, so V naught is equal to d by beta into Vn, where beta is less than 1. So in this case, so definitely V naught must be greater than d into Vn. So that is more than the possible voltage for continuous current mode operation. So you should be very, very careful about this particular point. So you have to verify whether the operation of the buck converter is corresponding to continuous current mode or not. For example, V naught and Vn both are given. So V naught and Vn both are given. So then verify whether V naught is same as d into Vn or not for buck converter. Okay. So for buck converter, if this is V naught is equal to d into Vn, then that is corresponding to continuous current mode operation or boundary of continuous current mode operation. So if this is less than, in case if this is not, both are not equal, in case V naught is more than, so d into Vn, that is corresponding to discontinuous current mode operation. So this is one way of verifying. So this can be done if you know V in and V naught. For example, V in and V naught are not given, but the other values are given. Like L value is given and R value is given, and we know how to find out LCR and RCR if the sufficient data is given. So you can find out whether L is less than LCR or R is less than RCR, R is greater than RCR. So if L is less than LCR, then that is corresponding to discontinuous mode. Similarly, if R is greater than RCR, then this is also corresponding to discontinuous mode of operation. Okay, first verify whether the relation is voltage, output voltage input voltage relation is following CCM mode or DCM mode, or you can use this condition also to verify whether it is DCM or CCM. Now let us try to solve this problem. So one problem, this is given in one of the GATE examination. So it is, of course, by inspection one can say that this is a buck converter. Whenever you have inductor connected to load side, so straight away one can say that it is corresponding to buck converter. Okay, buck converter. So now, so for this particular converter shown in figure, switching frequency is 10 kilohertz. 10 kilohertz is corresponding to 100 microseconds switching period, right? 1 by 10 kilo is same as 100 microseconds. So that is corresponding to switching time. So we are going to operate this with switching frequency 100 kilohertz. And what is the duty ratio? Duty ratio is 0.5. It is 0.5. Now for this particular case, find out maximum inductor current, the value of inductance and value of critical inductance. Input voltage is given, that is equal to 50 volts. Output voltage is equal to 40 volts. Output resistance is equal to 40 ohms. Now let us verify whether it is corresponding to continuous current mode or discontinuous current mode first. So we know the switching frequency is 10,000 kilohertz. So switching period is 100 microseconds. Let you note on that. D into Vn. So this is the output voltage corresponding to CCM. What is that? That is equal to 0.5 into 50, which is equal to 25 volts. If at all this is operated in continuous current mode, so this output voltage must be 25 volts. But what is it? It is 40 volts, more than this. So operation of this buck converter is corresponding to DCM, discontinuous current mode of inductor current. Now under this particular discontinuous current mode, what is the relation between output voltage and input voltage? That is not D into Vn simply, that is equal to D by beta into Vn. So 40, output voltage 40 and input voltage 50, D is 0.5. Substitute their values in the expression, you would get beta is equal to 0.625. Okay, this is the value of beta. Okay, and what is the time period to complete one cycle? That is 100 microseconds. Duty ratio is 0.5. So 0.5 into 100, that is equal to 50. So 50 microseconds we are going to keep this switch on. And for remaining 50 microseconds we are going to off this switch. We are going to isolate this switch. And once you isolate the switch, so what is the percentage of time? You can see the current through the inductor exists for this period, beta into Ts. Beta is 0.625. 0.625 into 100, that is equal to 62.5 microseconds. So 50 microseconds current would rise, and remaining 12.5 microseconds current would fall, and within that 12.5 microseconds current would fall to 0. And what is the remaining time in one switching frequency? 50 plus 12.5, 62.5. So 62.5 and coming to 100. So compared to 100, so what is the remaining time? That is equal to 37.5 microseconds. So remaining 37.5 microseconds, the voltage across current through inductor is going to be 0. Okay, so voltage across inductor also assume can be taken as 0. So anyway, what is the question? Question is to find out maximum inductor current. So maximum inductor current. So there are several ways to find out. Okay, the one way is if you know the slope. So slope into T on would give you the peak value. So which is same as Imax, right? So we know the rise in the volt current during this on period is same as the Imax, right? That is equal to slope into T on. What is slope? Slope is equal to V in minus V naught by L. L value is not known. L value is not known. So maybe you need to find out some other way to find out the maximum inductor current. So we know according to formula I naught is equal to this, right? So from this you can find out I naught equal to what? I naught is equal to average value. So average value is equal to area under this curve divided by Ts. So Ts is known. And what about area? Area is also area is equal to, so this complete base. Okay, for triangle complete base is equal to beta into Ts. Beta is known and Ts is known. Okay, beta is known and Ts is known. Of course, in fact, both are going to be cancelled out. So in fact, I naught is equal to beta into half into beta into Imax. So beta is known to us. Imax is not known. But do you know I naught? Yes, I naught value according to formula I naught is equal to V naught by R, right? So output voltage by resistance value. Output voltage is 40, output resistance is 40. So 40 by 40 is 1 ampere. This is known to us. So use it. So 1 is equal to this 1 is equal to half into beta 0.625 into Imax, right? So use this formula and find out. If you find out, you will get Imax value is equal to 3.2 amperes. This is the maximum value of inductor current. Now next one, value of inductance. So we know Imax is equal to 3.2, which is equal to slope. So the slope into this distance. So the slope into this base, right? What is slope? V in minus V naught by L. And what is this T on? T on equal to D into Ts. So Ts is 100 microseconds, D is 0.5, V in is 50, and V naught is 40. L value is unknown. Imax is 3.2 from the part A of the problem. So substitute all of them. So if you substitute all of them, you would get the value of L is equal to 156.25 micro henries. So please do verify. Okay, please do verify this answer. So this is the question given in one of the GATE examination. Next one, critical value of inductance. So what is critical value of inductance? Critical value of inductance is inductance corresponding to boundary condition. So far our analysis is for discontinuous case. No, now so what you have to do is that you have to increase the value of inductance so that current becomes just continuous, and find out what is the value of inductance. So that is same as critical value of inductance. So that is corresponding to this boundary condition. So it is at the boundary of discontinuous and continuous current mode operation. So let me consider L equal to LCR. So converter is operated at boundary of CCM and DCM. So under this condition, you can use this formula to find out the average voltage across the load. So that is equal to D into Vin. D value is given and Vin is given. Okay. So D now is 0.5 and Vin is 50. So V naught is equal to 25 volts for this particular boundary condition. And what is I naught? I naught is equal to, that is V naught by R, V 25 by 40, that is 0.625. So from this, so you can find out what is the value of L. How? So we know I max is equal to 2 into I naught, right, for boundary condition. So what is I max? That is V in minus V naught by LCR into DTS, which is equal to 2 into I naught. So D is known, TS is known, 2 is known, I naught is known. So all of them are known except LCR. So substitute them and find out the value of LCR, which is equal to 1 millihenry. This is one way of solving problem. The other way of solving problem, so directly you can use the formula. So that is R into 1 minus D by 2 into Fs. So R is 40, D is 0.5. Fs is equal to that is 10 kilohertz. So substitute Fs. What is Fs? I'm sorry. Fs is equal to that is 10 kilohertz. No, you have to substitute 10 power 3. Okay, I'm sorry. I think there is small correction. So you make the correction and you will get the value. Okay, small correction has to be made here. So it is 10 kilo. So you have to so this is plus 3. Make this correction. You will get that value equal to 1 millihenry. Okay, so this is about the operation of buck converter in discontinuous mode, and I have solved one problem for discontinuous mode, which is quite difficult. In case of continuous current mode, formulas are directly available. I again request you to solve few problems and let me know if you have any difficulty in solving. You can reach me through the mail ID given in the description. Thank you.